Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. So we got our dough right here. Nice dough. Unfortunately, we never filled our second tag. That's actually a pretty heartbreaking story. So last Saturday, I did shoot at a doe about 9 o'clock in the morning. I thought she was about 200 yards away. Fortunately, she was 400 yards away. So my shot did hit her in the chest, but I think I only damaged one of the lungs. So waited about a half hour. We ended up finding her trail after 20 minutes or so, and we found a trail of blood in the bush. So we started following the trail of blood, and she had laid down in 2 spots at this time, and she kept walking. So ended up tracking her for about 45 minutes. Sent Juanito back to get the truck. Waited another about 45 minutes, and then I continued tracking her for about an hour and a half. In that time, she had also laid down a couple more times. I finally had found a spot where she laid down, couldn't figure out where she went from there. Went back to the truck, sat there for about 2 hours, contemplating if I was going to go back out tracking her. I decided I'm not one to give up very easily, so I went back out there. Realized that she had doubled back, so I ended up finding her other trail, followed that trail for another 3 hours. She had laid down, all in all, about a dozen times. Unfortunately, the last place that she had laid down was in a big bedding area, so I couldn't follow tracks from there. She had blood the whole way. Every time she laid down, she had some big pools of blood, which I'm going to show you guys right here. She's starting to drag her leg, so I think we're going to find her soon. She laid down right here. Good. We're getting close. Getting close. There we go. She laid down right here too. And the unfortunate thing, I tried my best. I definitely learned that what to look at now for blood splatter. The way that her blood was coming out was indicative of a lung shot. So from here on in, if I see a lung shot, I'm gonna give her 3 or 4 hours before I start tracking her. That was definitely a mistake on my part. As a hunter, you never want to waste any kind of game. I mean, it's never a waste because really it feeds the forest. But it breaks my heart, right? So I shot her at 9. By the time I stopped tracking her, it was 4 p.m. Started losing daylight. Came back the next day, tried for another half hour. Couldn't really figure out where she went from there. And we didn't see any more deer running around. And that was the end of the season. So next year, I'm going to come into it with a better attitude, with more knowledge anyways. Definitely got to work on my tracking skills. This summer, I'm definitely going to spend a lot of time with my Grand rifle and practice a lot more distant shots so I can figure out the gradation on my scope so I don't run into those issues anymore. I'm definitely going to invest in a rangefinder just so I don't make those mistakes because 200-yard miscalculation is pretty huge. Anyways, so today I'm going to be skinning her. She's been hanging for a week and a half now. We'll be butchering her up on the weekend. We'll be doing it all ourselves because I don't need to pay somebody else to do that. So obviously the hide's going to be pretty tough to take off since it's been on there for quite a while now. When they're really fresh, it really comes apart nice and easily. So I will show you how I remove the hide. I'm no professional by any means, and I will not be using this hide this year, but I have found a home for it because I don't believe in wasting any kind of any part of the animal if I don't have to. So let's get started. So it always starts off with a nice sharp knife. I actually made this knife myself. It's 01 tool steel that I grinded and hardened. I don't have a forge, so I didn't bang it out with a hammer. But I bought some nice knife blanks, and it's really easy metal to harden. The handle is actually some, I forget what kind of wood, but it was an old piece of flooring. Beautiful grain. changed the profile on it a little bit this year to make it work a little better. I might work with the edge profile a little bit, make it a little bit thinner. But this is the knife that I bring to the woods with me all the time. I love it. You can hammer on it. It's tough, really sharp. Great little knife. So that's what I'll be using. So basically, like to start right here, and you don't want to go too deep. You don't really want to be cutting into the meat or anything like that. So let's just open her up right here. A lot of this I'll be going through it pretty fast because this is probably going to take me quite a while. So basically here, I'm not cutting into the meat itself. Bring it a little closer. So basically I'm not cutting into the meat itself. I'm just, you'll see a little thin layer of membrane. That's kind of what I'm trying to separate here. Again, if it was warm, she would peel off pretty easy, but it isn't, so that's okay. I'd rather leave the hide on, just because it's gonna keep that meat actually fresh, not drying up. Like, kind of see here, it dried up a little bit, but I mean here, this is just rib meat. I'll cut out the tenderloins here. I probably should have cut those out sooner. Next year I won't be doing this cut. Unfortunately, you waste a little bit of meat there, and that's not what you really want to do. There's actually a tool I saw when I was at Cabela's. You actually can, it's called a butt out tool, and you put it in the anus and you twist it, pull it, you tie off the anus and pull it out. So that's what I'm going to do next year. Again, I have hunted with my grandfather for quite a couple seasons, but this was my first real season out on my own. My dad kind of let me take the reins of it, so definitely learning a lot, and the best way to learn is just kind of get into it. So yeah. So I'll get back to here. So you see, when you get to a certain point, you can kind of pull right down on it. It pulls right off, nice and easy. So certain sections are easier than others. I will keep the tail for myself, that's for sure. So here I'll show you guys. Let's see, this part is going to come right down. I try to use my knife as little as possible, especially if you're planning on reusing the hide. And also, you don't want to cut up the meat hides too bad. Let's see. Okay, let's lift this up a bit. Oh, this little, I'll show you guys, this gambrel I got. Ended up picking it up from Cabela's for 25 bucks. And it's an HME. Awesome. Makes the world of difference, that's for sure. Especially by myself. Actually, get this up higher. Perfect. And there we go. Really just work the legs and stuff like that, and this will all come right off. As for the fat, I'm going to leave the fat right now, because again, I'm going to be butchering this on the weekend, so I don't want this meat to dry up, especially the nice back straps right here. There we go. Got it all finished up here. You can see. There she is. There's the hide. Like I said, I'll be donating that hide this year, so don't want it to go to waste. But yeah, thanks for joining, guys. Wish I had 2 deer to be doing it, but you know what? We got 1, so at least we're gonna have some meat. Next year's a different story, though. Next year, we're for sure gonna get 2. No ifs, ands, or buts. Gonna change up my techniques. Gonna really get to know that gun properly. No more mistakes this year, or next year, I should say. But yeah, I'm gonna end it right there. Thanks for joining along, guys. If you guys like this and you like the rest of the content I'm putting out, just hit the like and subscribe at the bottom. Leave some comments. Like I said, I'm always learning, so obviously I don't know the best techniques. So if you guys have some better techniques, just put it down in the comments and start a conversation. All right, thanks again. Have a good one, guys.